What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about why the market is sinking right now as we had some negative news that just came out, and also other factors which are affecting the markets. But let me first say that I'm not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them, and the offer ends in just 5 days. Anyways, for the market, we're seeing the market continuing to sink. In my previous videos, I mentioned that we had this uptrend on SPY that was remaining at the time I was recording my video, but then the uptrend could have broken if we lost support. And then once the uptrend broke during the after hours, that was yesterday, I made another video and I said that, hey, I'm expecting the market to drop. I called 499 on SPY. I said that Tesla's a risk of downside. And I said that I saw some moves to the downside coming to the market. I uploaded this video yesterday, and if you look at today, the market is sinking exactly as predicted. So I just want to say that because this is very important, as we had some very negative data that came out, and this negative data is contributing to why the market's moving the way it is. SPY is down in the pre-market right now over 1%. Tesla's trying to sink a little bit, but we're approaching some key support on it. QQQ is also down over 1.6%. The market is sinking, and this is because of some bad news. Let me talk about the news. Today is Thursday, April 25th at 8:30 a.m. So this was just about 30 minutes ago. The market had this data that came out, and the GDP growth rate was only 1.6%, well below the forecast and consensus. So weak GDP numbers basically are not what you excuse me, they're not what you want to see. The reason I say that is because the closer GDP numbers get to negative, that's one big sign that we're entering a recession. And with more contraction because of interest rates, we're starting to see weakness in our overall economic growth. On top of all of that, the GDP price index quarter over quarter is up to 3.1%, which is once again positive for inflation, suggesting that we could see higher rates of it. And then initial jobs claims was at 207,000. This is well below expectations. The reason why this is important is because now we're starting to see contraction in the labor market. So the labor market is being affected. GDP numbers are not looking as strong. And simultaneously, we have to be very careful because we have PCE data coming out for tomorrow. We're seeing a lot of headlines about these GDP numbers. This is negative for the markets. GDP increased only 1.6%, below expectations. And once again, we're seeing other things such as consumer spending going up and other things that are still suggesting that inflation could be going up as the personal consumption expenditure index that is also once again going up 3.4%. So this is showing signals that inflation is going up. On top of this, the economy is contracting because of the interest rates, and we're continuing to see more and more signals that suggest that. So that's not what the market wanted to see. And if GDP becomes negative, it's only at 1.6% now. If the next reports come out negative, going into like Q2, Q3, and beyond, that could be the first sign that we're getting closer to a recession, right? If you get two consecutive negative GDP quarters and unemployment starts going up, we're going to be entering a recession. So you want to be very, very careful, guys. The market is still contracting. So when it comes to earnings, today we just had Royal Caribbean announce their earnings and American Airlines. Later on, after the market closes, we have Microsoft, Alphabet, Intel, Snap, and Roku. Microsoft and Alphabet are going to be very interesting. Since Royal Caribbean just came out, I want to talk about this just real quick. They had very, very good earnings overall. EPS was a beat at $1.35. Net income was a little bit short of the $371 million target, but still not bad. Revenue reached $3.7 billion. That's above the forecast. And then the adjusted EPS guidance also increased to about $10.70 to $10.90, showing very strong demand and very, very nice increases. So this is very important because as the adjusted EPS has gone up, this is showing strong signs for guidance for 2024 as a whole. They also increased their guidance for Q2, so that's pretty good for them. So in essence, it's very simple. They did very well with earnings, and they ended up beating expectations, and they raised their full year guidance and Q2 guidance. So with good guidance and decent earnings overall, and also we're looking at some very, very strong looking reservations that are being made, strong amounts of them. So we're seeing a lot of people trying to go on vacations right now. So with all of that happening, right, this is good news for Royal Caribbean, and the share price is still going up thanks to that. When it comes to news about the markets, futures are flopping. As you guys can see, the S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ 100 are sinking. Meta was down quite a bit because their guidance was not too good for Q2. You could see their revenue guidance was not the best. That's why the share price is still down. Ford did relatively well, beating estimates, and they're trying to offset their losses in the EV sector. That's good for them. I talked about that yesterday as well. We had Rubrik announcing their IPO, which is good for them. They're a data management software company. That's very, very good news for them. Congratulations on their IPO. And then there is news about Joe Biden signing into law a series of uh, aid that's going to be sent to different countries. So I just wanted to mention that briefly. That's all I'm seeing on the news. Nothing too crazy right now. There's news about Tesla, a lot of news coming out about more layoffs. So that is what's making the headlines. So what do I see for the markets? Honestly, guys, SPY is collapsing right over here. We're barely at 498 support. This could continue to sink down to 497, and if that fails us, we're going to be on our way back down to about 494. We're looking pretty bearish right now. I think 497 is going to be expected at the very least, and this could continue to fall. So the GDP numbers are the reason why the market's reacting like this. We have resistance at 500. If we break through this, we could go up to about 502 again, but I'm not really counting on it to bounce that hard. I think that there's a lot of bearish momentum building. It's going to continue to hurt the markets. QQQ is in the same boat. It just lost 420. We're going to be coming down to about 417 very soon, if not lower. So I do expect some downside. I think we could even come all the way down to 413 later on. I think that the market looks bearish, and I think there's more downside potential. Nvda is also sinking. We're losing the support right here. We're going to be looking at 767 as support and a gap fill all the way down to the 760 zone. So I expect more downside on Nvda. For Tesla, it's barely at 159 right now. Notice how Tesla has this important range. We have 162.5 as our resistance zone. We have support approaching at 158. If we lose 158, we're going to be sinking to 155. Tesla's looking kind of weak because of the GDP numbers. I'm seeing some weakness on the chart. There is a risk of it contracting, but let me make it very clear. It hasn't officially lost 158 yet. We have to wait and see just to be safe. So once we lose 158, there's going to be more downside. We haven't lost it yet. We're going to watch and see if it ends up losing support, but there is a risk of that potentially happening, in my personal opinion. For Aapl, I said in my video yesterday, it might touch the 170 area, then reject. That's exactly what happened. We touched 170, then we rejected, grabbing liquidity. Apple's now at 168. We're going to be looking for 167.5 to be tested. If that fails us, 166.75 is coming. The chart looks a bit more bearish to me. Supermicro is coming down exactly as I predicted. I said it might reject, and that is what's happening. We got this big rejection, right? We pumped and dropped as expected, and I said there's a risk of it continuing to fall to about 708, and eventually it's going to get very close to about 680 perhaps. If you look at others like ARM, ARM is approaching the 93 support. If this fails, we're going to be sinking all the way down to 87 all over again. Looking kind of bearish right now. There is a risk of this dipping more. For Coinbase, it looks bearish. Going to be coming down to fill this gap at 210. I do see a bigger drop coming to Coinbase. And then Amazon looking kind of bearish. 170 is coming, then 169 looks kind of bearish to me. I still see more downside for that. Meta is looking a little bit weak. Going to be looking for a retest of about 408. Could sink a little bit from there, but it's already down quite a bit, so it might not fall as hard. So the VIX is going up. The VIX is breaking out as I predicted. The 10-year Treasury yield is breaking out. It's the highest we've seen in a long time. Yields are going up. There's an adjustment in the bonds market because of these these low GDP numbers. Excuse me. So that's not the best of news for the stock market, and the dollar is bouncing, which is bearish. The dollar has more upside potential. That is once again bearish for the stock market. So I'm going to be eyeing Tesla. I want to see how it reacts to 158. If we lose that, it's going to start sinking lower. So we'll just have to watch. With that being said, guys, there's weakness in this market. This is not really a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise to you. When I made a video yesterday, I said there's a drop coming tomorrow, right? So it's no surprise to us. We called this, we expected this, and we'll see how things go. All right. So thank you for listening, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours, and peace out.